Man, this contraption I've got you on, let me show you. Oh, man. Yeah, I need a new tripod. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from Crochet Creations, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is episode 25 of the Crochet and Knitting Podcast. That is amazing. Wow, 25 whole episodes. I've been doing this for a little bit over a year, so I guess that's not so surprising, but that's just a big number, and I love that number. It's like a nice benchmark, I feel like. Anyway, on this YouTube channel, I like to talk about all things craft yarn related, lots of crochet, lots of knitting, especially knitting, yarny things, anything yarn adjacent. I like to do project vlogs and day in the life vlogs, product reviews, and all sorts of things. So if you enjoyed that type of content, I would love for you to stick around here. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification to be notified every time I post a new video. Without further ado, let's get into my finished objects I want to share with you. This first one, let me get my sock blockers. Okay. This first one I have to share with you is a pair of socks that I test knit. It was a secret test knit, so you have not seen these yet, but I finished this pair. Ta-da! These are the Astrophage socks by Huga Canyon. And if you look real closely, you'll see that there are teeny tiny baubles all over. And the cool part about this pattern is that the texture is dependent upon the variegation in your yarn. So you need a variegated yarn to do this. What I did is whenever I had a little blip of the hot pink, then I did the texture, which was really cool. I kind of wish I had picked a color blip that was more prevalent than the hot pink. Now that I know that, if I make this pattern again, I will choose something a little bit more common, like maybe this like navy blue or the purple even, to do a lot more of that texture. But that made it really fun. I really enjoyed that this was totally a vanilla plus sock. Very easy for beginners. You just do a little texture at the blips of your variegation you chose. But what I really enjoyed about this pattern is that it made me more mindful of the yarn that I was using. I wasn't just looking at the yarn as a whole and how it worked up, but I saw the variation in the colors and the subtleties and how the colors bled from one to another. It was a really cool, mindful experience in a sock that I haven't had before, and I think it's really special. I really like cranking out projects. It feels really good to finish things, but I think it is really important to take the time to do some slow and intentional crafting and to, I guess, feel more connected with our projects. It's not just about production. We're not a knitting machine or a crochet machine, but we are human. I really appreciated having the time to be mindful about the yarn I was using since it is beautiful. This is Mezzo Makes. These are some of their Taco Bell colorways. So this one is Having a Blast, based on Baja Blast. This variegated color is called 90s Taco Throwback. If you picture a 90s Taco Bell, literally the coloring is perfect. So I had to have these. I knew they were a great match together. And even though I just knit a pair of socks with these, I am tempted to cast on another pair with this yarn because I love this yarn so much. And usually after knitting something with yarn, I take a little break before I come back to that yarn, but I have plenty left over. I might knit another pair of socks, who knows? So that's super fun. I finally get to show you. It has been released, and everything that I talk about here will be linked down below where is possible for me to find a link. And if I'm ever missing anything, just let me know in the comments down below. You might hear it a little bit in my voice, but I am recovering from being sick. I didn't think that my voice was so bad I couldn't film today, and so I wanted to still do a little bit of chit chat with you. Since I am over the hump, I am feeling much better. The past couple days I've been feeling really not good, and so I'm really glad that today I'm feeling almost like myself, but I do apologize if you hear a little bit different in my voice. Sorry, I'm investigating. All right, I have one more finished object that I would love to show you. And as I'm holding it here, I am realizing that these socks do not match. I think it's a gauge issue. Look at that. Oh dear. Oh dear, but I do know that this bigger sock will probably fit my daughter better. So I should probably try them on her and then make a decision. Maybe they'll fit fine enough. I don't know. We shall see. These are the Ambulate socks by Roro and Cades that I also test knit, and I wanted to pound through the second sock, and I was definitely more mindful of my tension, and it shows. Oh goodness. That's no good. That's a big difference, I feel like. And even just like looking at it, I can tell. And granted, I did knit these in different ways. So if you have seen a previous episode of my podcast, I talked about how for the first sock, I had to switch to DPNs somewhere on the leg, I think, because a cord broke on my knitting needles. I didn't have another cord available. And so I knit this sock with DPNs, and then I had a cord available to knit my second sock, and so that's what I did. I mean, clearly my tension is different. Very clearly. You can see this one is a lot smaller of stitches, and I mean, that's the way it be sometimes. So yeah, let me know what you would do in the comments below. Halloween is on Monday, so I don't think I'll finish a sock by Monday. I don't know. I should probably. I hate having them not match. Wow, I did not expect to talk about this sock so much. Probably what I would do is I would undo the tight one and reknit it at my normal gauge. Is probably what I would do. I have extra yarn, so maybe I'll just start knitting another sock. See how far I get? I don't know. I will keep you updated. Okay, out of the drama, let's take a look. This pattern is really neat because it uses twisted stitches to make these drag lines, or like the spider webbing coming from the spider's silk making parts. I know it's not their butt. I don't know spider anatomy very well. Anyway, and so ambulate is the name of the organ that silk comes from, hence the name of these socks. And you can see this cool like spider texture that goes all around the socks. And Kelly, within her pattern, has instructions to just follow the pattern and put the spiders where she suggests. And she also has a place in the pattern where you can put in your own chart to place your spiders wherever you want them to be, which is really cool. I hope that my daughter really loves these because all of a sudden she's obsessed with spiders. Anytime we see a spider decoration outside, she had like a little coloring page with a spider on it that she loves. We went to the pet store yesterday just to browse, look at the animals, because Georgia likes animals. She just turned 2, by the way, just for context if you are not following along with us. Her favorite, she told my husband afterwards when he asked her, like, what was your favorite animal? She said the spider. We are never bringing a spider home. Sorry, not sorry. So hopefully she likes these socks because they've got spiders on them. And now that I noticed that they're definitely different sizes, I can't unsee that. And yeah, I'll definitely be making another sock. Now you know. It's finished object, but it will not be a finished object yet. But I am totally in the mood right now to clear off my needles, to finish my whips. I just realized that I have some goals for Christmas projects. And it's almost November and we're moving soon and the holidays are coming up quick. So my time is limited for what I can make. I'm planning on making a lot. I can talk about this later, maybe in my life section, but because I have a lot of things in mind for Christmas, I really need to finish some things off so I can move on and do some more holiday related projects and gift knits and whatnot. So I'm in the mood to finish my projects. Let me share with you a couple of the bigger projects I've been working on recently, and I've been getting good progress done, which is awesome. Oop, we're tangled. Okay, so for my Find Your Fade shawl, I am almost done with my third color. I've almost used up my second of 4 colors. It's kind of hard to explain, but I am just about at a fading point again. Ta-da! You'll see that cookie marker is where I was. So I have finished off my brown. So what I decided to do was, it takes about 1 gram of yarn to do a row back and forth. Using that knowledge, I decided to start fading from one color to the next in order to use up as much yarn as possible when I have 15 to 18 grams left. So then by the end of fading, I have like 7 to 10 grams left of the yarn. Guesstimating that I had a little bit extra grammage available, and if I use up all of my white yarn, I don't mind that because I have other white yarn, but I would love to keep some of these other colors in like little quantities for cut work and things like that. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes, but I feel like I'm not too far off from finishing off this pattern, honestly. I don't know. I waffle back and forth between feeling like I'm so close to the end and feeling like it just won't end. I use Sorella yarn, fall tonals. I purchased these last year for my birthday. This is ceramic and cashmere. This one is currently called Charlotte, and this brown is currently called Cottage. And so I faded as written in the pattern from light to dark, and then I realized, I realized it earlier on, but I realized my ratios were a little bit off, and with 4 colors, I don't know, I just decided I didn't want to be only left with white at the end. I decided to go from light to dark and then halfway through to start fading from dark to light, which has been working great. I'm going to use up my yarn. The fading is not going to be symmetrical, but it's not a symmetrical shawl, so I think it'll be okay. I'd rather just use up the yarn and it'll be fine. Anyway, my problem right now is that I just started the next lace section in this Charlotte color, and now I hit 18 grams left of this color. And I don't exactly know how many grams I use on a lace row. I'm assuming it's slightly different, but fairly close to the same. So knowing that, I need to start fading pretty soon. And so I'll be fading on the lace section, and I just don't know how that'll turn out. But like, there's literally no way I can finish the lace section on this color. I have to fade. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. So it will just have to be the way that it is. So that'll be interesting to kind of see how that turns out soon. Not ideal for sure, but I still think it'll look pretty, and I love all these colors together. And it's so cool feeling motivated to work on this, because for the longest time it just felt like such a chore and like this project was taking forever. And I feel like the end is in sight now. And I really would love to finish this by the end of the year, because it's part of my Make 9, but also it's just felt like a really big, long project, and I'm ready to be done. It is on its way. So I've used up the brown. I am using up the pink. It should be done within this lace section I'm on, and then I'll be onto the cashmere. My cashmere section will definitely be a lot larger than my Charlotte section, just because of how much I used on the first half of the shawl. It's just different for both colors. And that's okay. We'll see. So I might be in the cashmere section for a while, but you'll have to keep watching to find out. My other big project that I've been working on and that I would love to finish really soon, but probably will not be as soon as I hope it to be, because it's not the only thing I'm working on. This is my No Frills sweater by Petite Knit. I will be making better choices for more size inclusive patterns in the future, but because I already had this pattern, I decided to make it. Ta-da! You will notice I have both sleeves done. Yay! So I have all my markers still in. I don't really need those anymore. But yes, I finished both sleeves. The other week, when I last showed this, I was right here. This marker is by Simply Serving. Cute little crow and a pumpkin. And I just barely started the second sleeve. The sleeve is now finished. Yay! And I have joined again in the body. I like to do my sleeves first, because then I know my sleeves are a length I'm comfortable with, because the cropping of a sweater can be variable and I can still wear it. Whereas the sleeve length, if it ends awkwardly, or if like one sleeve's longer than the other, that won't work, and I don't want to go back and fix it. So I just do the sleeves first. That makes it easier for me to work the sleeves in the round, because I'm not navigating the whole body finished. But also what I've been doing is turning the sleeves inside out, so they're on the inside of the sweater. And so then that makes it really easy for me to work in the round on the body without the sleeves like wiggling around. So it feels basically the same as doing the sleeves afterwards. I'm really excited about that. I have done that much on the body since you last saw me. I've got a ways to go, but I have plenty of yarn left. I don't think I'll be playing any yarn chicken, but you never know for sure. And it's kind of hard to guesstimate. I haven't made a ton of knit sweaters, and so it's hard to know exactly how long I want it, but I know I'll be knitting for a while on this, but it's nice, easy stockinette. It's just a little bulky for taking with me on the go. So it's mostly been like a couch knitting or in the bed knitting kind of thing. But I'm so excited about that. I bought the yarn for that with some birthday money last year, and I would love to have it finished by my birthday, which is in November. So that's the plan, but I think it will be finished on the earlier side just because it is such an easy knit and it's so beautiful watching the mohair work up. The yarn that I'm using, let me pull it out for you. For the mohair, it's falling apart. This is Madeline Tosh Impressions in the color New Moon. It's got some mauves, purples, teals, aquas. So pretty. And Knit Picks palette, which is a fingering weight 100% wool yarn in the color Ice Lily, this beautiful mauve color. And someone asked in a previous video, and I thought this was a really interesting question, was how I knew like how I wanted to do this combination of yarns. And so I guess I'll share with you a little bit of my thought process because I thought that was an interesting question. So looking at all the beautiful colors in here, and granted, I'm not an expert with like color matching and whatnot. I like to be coordinated with my coloring. I have a hard time picking contrast colors. I don't necessarily like that look as much instinctively. And so I definitely try to coordinate colors really well together. And so just looking at this skein, there's all sorts of different shades and colors that I could have picked and it would have matched the mohair really well. I decided to do mauve because that is really like the lightest shade that you can find, that really light pink mauve in this skein. And I felt like, one, I love the color mauve, but two, I felt like choosing a lighter color would let the mohair shine a little bit. If I chose a darker color, then that variegation within the mohair would not be as noticeable. And that's just my personal preference and what I thought would happen. So what I did is I just purchased one skein from Knit Picks so I could see it in person. I feel like their written descriptions for their yarn colorways are actually really good. And so based on their description and the picture, which is not 100% accurate to like what you see in person just because screens can be different. So I picked one skein and I purchased it and I decided to compare. I put them together and I was like, I could see like that those shades would match. That looks like that would be a good match. So then I did a gauge swatch just to make sure I liked how the fabric was looking with both of them together. And I loved it. So then I picked up a lot more skeins, enough for the pattern, and I am on my way. So that's kind of my process for making this match. It's my first time using variegated mohair before, and I think it has worked really well, and it's been really interesting to see it work up, and it's making me feel more adventurous with making yarn purchases, that I could buy like a nice hand-dyed variegated mohair. There are some beautiful colors out there that some indie dyers do, and just pair it with a more budget-friendly base yarn, and it would be a great match and make a great sweater that is, I wouldn't say cost effective, but I think you get the most bang for your buck because you're getting this beautiful hand-dyed colorway, but with some budget-friendly yarn to pair with it. It makes it a lot easier for your wallet to swallow, in my opinion. And this is still a really beautiful colorway. There's nothing wrong with having a budget-friendly yarn. I think it's awesome, especially when there are budget-friendly options that have really nice drape like this wool yarn, which I really like. I've got some Knit Picks links down below. I am an affiliate, but that's because I really love their products and they've got a vast range of budget-friendly yarns with all sorts of different fiber contents. So I definitely recommend you check them out, as well as We Crochet, which is their sister company, I guess. They have almost the exact same products available, but they offer different sales on either site. And so once there was a stroll sale for like 30% off stroll yarns on like We Crochet, which like stroll is a sock yarn and it's not used very often in crochet socks because crochet socks aren't nearly as common as knit socks, but if you love using stroll yarn, head on over to We Crochet and buy it. It's the same thing, and there's also a lower shipping threshold, at least in the United States. Instead of needing to get to $65 in your cart in order to get free shipping, it's like $35, I think, for We Crochet. So I definitely recommend you check out both sites for what you're looking for, just to see if, the sales are different, and the sales can definitely vary between the two sites, even though they have almost the same products. So that is my hot tip. Those two projects have definitely been getting the majority of my time, other than like trying to finish socks and stuff. Those are some big projects I've been working on, but I have a couple other things I want to show you. This hat, honestly, I just started putting a lot of time into it yesterday, and it is flying off the needles. It's been so fun to knit. Ta-da! It's kind of hard to see because it's this beautiful chocolatey brown color. But this is the Loopty hat, and I can't remember the designer. Abigail something. So I'll definitely make sure to link that below. But it's got these beautiful cables. I'm almost done with the body of the hat, and I'm about to start the crown. So I'm really excited. This hat is coming together really quickly. This yarn is local. So it's from, if you've heard me talk about this yarn before, Deer Hollow Farm is in Cupertino, California. It is local to me. It's within a county park reserve thing. So you park in the county park and you walk like a mile into it to get to the farm. And we visited the farm before with family, with my daughter, with friends. We've been to the farm multiple times. This yarn came from one of the sheep there, which is so cool. I love that farm. It's been a really fun, more local destination that we've been to a lot as a family. And so it's fun to have yarn from sheep there. I purchased the yarn at Amazing Yarns. It's a really special yarn store in, I think, Emerald Hills. And basically it's got a lot of hand spun, art yarn, locally milled, things like that. So it's a really special place to get yarn. So that's where I purchased this. And my goal is to finish this hat so that I can wear it on a trip to the farm and I get a cute picture with all the sheep, because it's just, I love sheep. I love local yarn. I love this yarn. This is a beautiful, beautiful color. And it's amazing how soft it is. It's 100% natural, there's no superwash or anything. It's definitely a rustic yarn. I've found some veg matter in it and whatnot, but it feels so nice and soft. And these cables, and it's got a folded brim. These cables are so squishy. I have really enjoyed working on this hat. The cabling is not necessarily my favorite process, but that's because I haven't gotten the hang of cabling without a cable needle, and the cable needle can just feel a little tedious sometimes. But it's been a really fun pattern to work up, other than the cable needle itself. And I'm getting close to the end, so I think I'll have a finished object by next podcast, which is so exciting. I love it. I love this color so much. And this is just a really special yarn from my time here in California, since we are moving fairly soon. Yay! That's getting a lot of attention recently. I'm looking around. I have only 2 other whips, and one of them is an accountability whip. So this is my stroll sock for my brother. Meant to be a Christmas gift, and I'm filming a video about stroll yarns just to kind of explore the different varieties they have. This is Stroll Tonal in the colorway Train Station. It's just taking me forever. I don't remember when I started this sock specifically, but I started the video of reviewing stroll yarns in June. And it's almost November, so I need to get a move on. So this is an accountability post that this sock needs to have a lot more progress next time I talk to you. Please yell at me in the comments below. Please inspire me in the comments below. Problem is, I set a goal to make these Christmas socks for my whole family, my brothers and my parents, and why would I work on Christmas things in the summer? I don't know why I thought I would, because I definitely didn't. So now it's time to get a move on. Accountability, please hold me accountable that I make progress on that, because it won't take that long if I just work on it. And then last but not least is another Christmas make. And this is one of the reasons why I really want to get some of these other projects off my needles so I can make some Christmas things. Let me find the top. Okay, I made a swatch for my husband's Christmas sweater. I'm making him a cardigan. Hopefully you can see that a little better. There's also cabling in there. So this is going to be for Viking by Martin Story, that's available in a very old issue of Rowan magazine from 2012 that I had to track down, and I got a hold of it, thank goodness. And ta-da! I did a gauge swatch. It was very tricky to figure out how to do a gauge swatch because it's just like, it's a pattern. And I was like, well, I don't want to knit like across the whole panel and then do it, so I had to do some number crunching and figure out where I was going to start in my swatch. And I figured it out. Happy ending. There's some stockinette portions as well as some cabled portions, which is really fun. So everything's going to be about cables, preparing for Christmas, I guess. But this yarn is Wool of the Andes worsted in the color Delft Heather. Ta-da! Which I think this is darker than Delft Blue, but that's my own personal opinion. I don't name colors, so. But my husband picked out this color. My husband wanted something a little more rustic, but not necessarily super scratchy. And I think that this is perfect for that. It's got a nice stripe already. I'm not sure how this gauge compares to the pattern. Looking at it, I think this yarn might be a little thinner than the yarn called for. So we'll have to compare and contrast. But I need to measure my husband still and then figure out what size I'm making based on my measurements for this gauge because he liked the fabric that this made. I'll need to do a little figuring out, but I should be starting this very soon. And it's worked in pieces, which is also, I'm not a super fan, but that means that I can set goals for like when to finish the back, when to finish the front, when to finish sleeve one. So hopefully that can keep me on track, but I figured that I gotta get my butt moving and start this. I was hoping to start it earlier in the year so I could have lots of time, and of course I didn't start it yet. So November, I'm gonna be cranking out some of this. I need to think about my goals for making this happen for him. It's a really cool textured cardigan and definitely a different product than I've ever done before. So wish me luck. It's been kind of hard reading a magazine pattern because they abbreviate things and really condense things to make it easy to print in few pages. So it's just been a little different of an experience for me to work from a pattern like that. So I think it's been good to stretch my knitting skills in that way. And I don't think that this will be too hard of a pattern to actually make as long as I follow the chart and do my math correct. So that is like the next step for this, is doing all that math and figuring out sizing and whatnot. Those are all my current whips. I am really trying to clear things off the needles so I can spend November and December working on gift knitting and Christmas plans and all sorts of things that I feel like I have to do by the end of the year. I have some fun yarn goodies to share. I would not have yarn goodies to share every single week if I did a weekly podcast, but waiting a few weeks in between means that I just accumulate things. I got a birthday present for my mom. My birthday's in November. So Sorella Yarn was doing their Autumn in New York collection with Alexi Tavel, or Two of Wands. I really wanted to get a sweaters quantity of their Autumn in New York colorway to use for a bibliophile by Alicia Plummer. I would love to do that, but I had other purchases that I had already budgeted for, and so I didn't feel comfortable swinging for another sweaters quantity. So I reached out to my mom and I asked her if for my birthday if she could get me a sweaters quantity, and she did. Yay! Which my birthday hasn't happened yet. It's in November, but so grateful. So this is Sorella Yarn Autumn in New York on the nylon sock base, and we shall see if I have any left over to use for socks. That's the plan, but it's so beautiful. The rich like red and pink tones with a little bit of like mauves and even like gold. So pretty. I think that this will look beautiful for the bibliophile. I had planned another yarn for the bibliophile until that yarn came to me and it looked different than I anticipated from a pre-order. It happens sometimes. And so this yarn will be for a bibliophile and that other yarn will be for a different sweater I've already had in mind. So it all works out. Thank you, Mom. It's so squishy and soft. I'm so excited to cast this on. But again, I have other plans for Christmas sweaters that I should start first. And so I really need to clear some other things off my needles so that I can start some fun projects as well. So that's like the big thing. And then I went to Fillory Yarn with a friend of mine. Fillory is in San Jose, and it is the local yarn store that I've gone to the most because they have a lot of Xiaogu needles, which is my preferred. And I just bought a couple things there, but I wanted to let you know that if you are local to the San Jose or San Francisco Bay Area, that Fillory Yarn might be closing early next year. Their lease is up in February, and so they're looking right now for a buyer for the yarn store. If no one buys, then they'll be liquidating probably. So you might want to go check it out and grab any goodies that you don't want to miss out on, or keep an eye out if they end up doing a sale within a couple months. I will not be here in a couple months. That's a little sad. But you can maybe take advantage of a going out of business sale if they end up doing that, which is not certain. It depends if someone's going to buy it or not. But I bought 2 skeins. This is Mod Yarns Fingering 101 in the color Phoebe. I think this color is beautiful, beautiful tonal. So pretty. So I snagged that. It'll be great for socks. It'll be great in a shawl. It'll be great for a lot of things. And then I also grabbed this Ling Yarns Xiaowu. I don't know how to pronounce it. And it's pretty gray color. My plan is, I had a friend ask me to make her a pair of socks before I move. And I already have some red yarn. She wanted red and gray striped socks, shorty socks. And I already have some red from working on my brother's stroll socks. I think I'll have plenty left. And so I just needed some gray, so I picked up some gray. And what's cool about this yarn is that it also comes with a reinforcement thread spool on the inside so that you can use that to reinforce heels, hose, whatever you feel like might get some extra wear and tear. I've used that yarn before, and it's a good quality, budget-friendly sock yarn option. Lots of color range, like a huge color range. So I might, before I move, grab a couple other colors that I'm thinking about using because it is just really good for color work. Especially. I'm seeing how long I can last, but my throat is definitely giving out. I don't know if you can hear it. And while I was there at While I was there at Fillory Yarn, they gave me a little stitch marker. So cute. It says Fillory Yarn on it, so that's kind of cute. A little memento. They might be getting rid of it because they might think that they won't sell. I don't know. It's all up in the air, so we'll see. Then my last purchase, I purchased some things for Sockmas. It's a sock make-along hosted by Nitty Natty. I'm a big fan of her. I think she's awesome. And she's partnered with a couple different small businesses for Sockmas. And I think both Mandy's Makings and White Rose Fiber Co. are doing some pre-orders for their products. But I was able to snag a White Rose Fiber Co. bag for Sockmas. Ta-da! So cute! Like, so Christmas. I love the Christmas socks, and the black background makes them really pop. There's a cute little stocking charm on there, and it's got this like green and red snowflake design on the inside. I only have like 2 actual project bags. Otherwise, I'm using like random totes, like those free reusable bag totes that you get from lots of places. I've got a lot of those I'm using right now. So it's nice to have some nice bags. This, I don't know if you can hear, it's like stiff. So it stands up pretty well on its own actually. It's got a little box bottom. It's so cute. But yeah, it's a stiffer fabric. I think there's some kind of like interfacing layer in there. And this will be perfect for socks. Yay! I've not moved a project into this bag yet, but I need to figure out what I'm going to do. It doesn't have a handle, but it is like a nice clutch size bag. Super cute. And then to get free shipping from White Rose Fiber Co. on Etsy, I got a cute rose gold tin filled with some stitch markers. Super cute. There's a bunch of light bulb stitch markers that are rose gold. Oh cute. And there's also a little silver rose. So cute. I always need more stitch markers, especially the light bulb ones. As I was working on my sweater sleeve, I realized I was running out and I like could not find more markers. It was actually kind of funny. I was like frantically trying to figure out where to find my markers. So I definitely needed more. So I grabbed some of those, which I'm excited about. And that is all my new yarn goodies that I've gotten recently. So fun to share with you the things that I am slowly acquiring for my stash. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but my husband and daughter have just come home and it's almost lunchtime. So we're going to wrap this up, but I wanted to share a little bit of life and chit chat things. So I alluded to earlier, but I have some plans for some Christmas making. So already talked about it, but we've got Christmas socks for my parents and my brothers. So that's 4 pairs of socks. And I have finished 1.5 pairs right now. So I've got a few socks left to go. So I have all those that I need to make coming up soon. And I have Christmas sweaters for myself and my husband. I decided on the Everett pullover by Fine Fiber Co. And it's this beautiful cable sweater where the cables just look like little tucks or knots on the fabric. I really like the look of it. It's a little bit different than other cabled things I've seen. So I picked that for me, and I have my yarn available. It's set aside in one of my tote bags. And so that is ready to go for me. I'm using Swish Worsted, another Knit Picks yarn that's 100% superwash wool, and it is so soft and silky. So I think it'll have an excellent drape and just be a nice, cozy, classy looking sweater. I already talked about my husband's sweater that I'm going to be starting really soon here. I'm going to prioritize that one for sure. And then a tradition I started last year was knitting Christmas socks for my family. I know some families do like a Christmas pajama, and we'll still do that too, but I thought it was so fun to have Christmas socks to have all of us wear Christmas Eve as like a cozy little pre-Christmas gift. I thought that was so fun, and this year I want our socks to match. So my plan, I think, is going to make variations on the spruce sock by Originally Lovely. It's got this cute detail on the sock to make a little Christmas tree, so it's pretty subtle, and I think that it's mostly a vanilla sock, so I'm going to make little socks for Georgia. I have to adapt the size. I'll make normal socks for me. Dallin, my husband, will get ankle socks, and I'll probably move that tree motif to the very top of the sock because he does not want any kind of leg on his sock. I think I can squeeze all of that out of 100-gram skein of yarn. And looking in my stash, I've actually got a skein here that I think might work really well for that. This is Mezzo Makes from their U collection. This is the color called Beck. And when I purchased this online, I thought it was going to be a little bit more tealy, but it's very forest green. And so I think that this would be great for sprucey socks. So I'll have to measure it, make sure it's at least 100 grams. I think what I'll do is I'll knit my husband's socks and my daughter's socks first, and then I'll just make whatever length I can get out of the rest of this. But even if I make like a tall sock for me, I only need like 50 grams for my socks because I don't like them super, super tall. So I think we'll be fine. I think we can make it work with just this one skein. Maybe I'll grab another skein to use as like an accent color or like a toe or something. Maybe have like red toes. I'm not sure. That might be fun actually. So that's kind of the plan for like Christmas holiday knitting. I also have a magazine pattern that will be available spring next year, and so I'm working on that. It's a blanket design, and so I gotta work on that. So that's like a big project to work on in November as well, and I cannot show that here, but I will definitely let you know when it is out and available so you can see it in that magazine. And other than that, that's kind of like my bulk of my knitting right now. Plus for the end of the year, like we're moving fairly soon, and then we're traveling for the holidays. So there's just a lot going on before the end of the year, and I want to finish some more Make 9 things. So definitely not as far along as I thought it would be for Make 9. I don't know, I'm learning a lot more about myself and the things I enjoy making. I think that's a good learning opportunity for me. In light of that, there are still things, they're all things I still want to make, but I got to figure out what I want to make before the end of the year, if anything, if I have time for anything else, because I've got a few sweaters. I've got a few big projects going on, so I'm not sure, but if I can finish the things I'm working on right now, then I can kind of decide what else to work on. If you have watched my Make 9 videos, any of them, my regular Make 9, my stash Make 9, or my gift Make 9 list, let me know if there's anything you think I should be working on. I have all sorts of projects to choose from, and it would be nice to have something that's more vanilla because my sweater has cables, Dallin's sweater has cables. Oof. So it'd be nice to work on something else other than socks and cables. Just to get a little bit more variety, because I do enjoy the variety. Variety is the spice of life. And it's the spice of my craft. I have all sorts of things going on. And while right now I feel like I need to clear off my needles and like whip down, get rid of some projects, I also feel like I enjoy having a variety and things to bounce back and forth between. And so just trying to maintain that variety is also important to me. Anyway, I think that I should get going. I've really enjoyed talking with you. Earlier this week, I did not think I could even talk because Georgia would ask me to read a book and my voice would give out halfway through reading a picture book, and so I did not think I could make it through. So I'm really glad that my voice has survived this long for this video. I'm so happy to share with you and to show the progress I'm working on. I think that it will be 3 weeks before my next podcast, as I am rearranging my video schedule, just timing wise for pattern releases and such. I do have a pattern coming up. The Wonderland sweater will be releasing on November 16th as part of the Winter Wonders blog hop, and so you can actually get this fully size inclusive sweater pattern from 28 all the way to 62-inch bust circumference for free from this blog hop, or you can purchase the pattern bundle coming up really quick. So I think I'll have those links down below if you are interested when this video comes out, though they are not available to me at this exact moment, but I think they will be available to you. And on November 16th is when you can get that pattern for free as part of the blog hop. So definitely keep an eye out for that. So it'll be a little bit longer for a podcast video, but I will have other videos coming out weekly as normal so that you can stay up on my content and see what's going on with me. Thank you so much for being here. I love sharing with you what I'm working on and just chatting with you down below. So definitely share the things you're working on, especially if you are thinking about holiday projects that you need to work on and the goals that you have before the end of the year. I definitely feel like right now is the time to finish off the year and prepare for 2023 and what's to come. So definitely make sure to share down below. I would love to hear from you. And until next time, happy making. Bye.